Hey Civ 6 fans, in this video I'm going to be sharing a great map for trying out the One City Challenge on Deity difficulty if you've never had an opportunity to do so. So in the playthrough footage that I'm going to be showing, I didn't do a true One City Challenge because I did have a couple of cities that flipped via loyalty, and I did go ahead and keep those cities rather than letting them fall into free city status. However, I do believe that most players with the start that you get on this map probably would be able to fairly easily just limit themselves to the one city and not actually even take the liberated loyalty cities. So I'll be sharing the footage here, and here are the map details. If there are settings that are not listed here, that means they were left on the standard default settings for that map type. And while you're taking down those map details, if you're interested in this content and would like to see other content like it, there is a lot of it on my channel, so please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. I can only vouch for this starting position here with Pacahuti of the Inca, and I would actually recommend playing them anyway if you're trying to do the One City Challenge here, because they have some advantages in terms of growing out that city in that location that I will go over in the video here. If you're familiar with the Natural Wonder graphics for Civ 6, you'll be able to tell that that is Mount Roraima to my southwest, which is an incredibly strong natural wonder due to the way it is shaped. It's got sort of an L shape, and the tiles for the natural wonder provide adjacency bonuses, and it's a very large natural wonder, and it has a couple of different spots where the adjacent tiles can touch two tiles of the wonder, effectively providing a double bonus. And the bonus given to adjacency for Mount Roraima is one science and one faith, but if you're touching two tiles, that's going to be two science and two faith. Now, unfortunately, even though this is a mountain, Pakahuti's ability to work mountain tiles is not going to let me work the tiles of the wonder itself, nor are the Mount Roraima tiles going to provide additional food on our terrace farms. So, but the spot is pretty good in that it's got a mountain that's one hex away from the two tiles of Roraima that I'd be starting by. So effectively, those tiles, I'm going to be able to add a terrace farm there and get the bonus added to both the mountain tile that I can work and the actual terrace farms on those tiles while not losing the bonuses on that terrain from being adjacent to Mount Roraima. So we're going to make an effort to be aggressive with our early chops, since we're going to be working probably our first three tiles adjacent to Roraima. We don't have to worry as much about cannibalizing our production by chopping those nearby forest tiles. On my normal playthroughs, a lot of times I will hold out and use Amani as my first governor to try and see if I can unlock some heroes, but since I'm only going to be building one city, I am not as worried about getting like multiple good heroes. So hopefully we get a good hero to start with, and we're going to start with building up our infrastructure as fast as possible, which means assigning Magnus for the 50% extra on the chops and starting with a builder immediately. So finding the 40 gold in the tribal village is actually incredibly favorable here, and that's because that allows us to immediately purchase that tile that has the double adjacency to Mount Roraima, which is going to give two science and two faith on top of the normal production and food instead of one science and one faith. So some continued good fortune here, discovering Himiko. I think that's probably the best hero that we could have discovered for the strategy that we're going with. I mean, not really a strategy, the limitation of not building any settlers, because it's going to give us the ability to use her levying and ability to generate suzerain status to give us some more presence on the map when we're going to be mostly limited by being in just our capital city. So with mining finished, we will be able to get those early chops plus 50% with Magnus once we get our worker out. And that will actually dovetail nicely with the fact that we've got a barbarian camp up here, and possibly we'll get the opportunity to get the boost for bronze working as well if there are a couple of spawns. Because we discovered Himiko, I think that it is optimal to build the monument immediately here, And that is because Himiko is going to allow us to quickly explore a lot of the map because she doesn't have any terrain penalties at all when she's moving. And then that is going to allow us to also get some envoys out at those city-states. And even if we're not the first meet, we'll just be able to assign an envoy via Himiko and then immediately start generating that bonus production to our capital. Or by production, I generically mean whatever type of resource that city-state happens to be generating. So we mentioned earlier the Incan unique improvement, the terrace farm, and it does have to be built on certain types of terrain. So there's 3 tiles around that mountain that we could build terrace farms and still also get the additional +1 food for being adjacent to a mountain. And it also gives the mountain tile itself, which can be worked by the Incans, an improvement for each adjacent terrace farm. So we don't have a freshwater adjacency, so we're going to be losing some of that bonus, but with those incredibly high yield Rarema tiles, at being able to add the unique terrace farm on top of 2 of those tiles is going to be really strong. In addition, this is going to be an easy era score boost, and I'm thinking if we are going to be trying to go for a single city and not building out any expansion cities, that we are probably going to need an early golden age here. You can see that we are already generating enough faith off the works tiles that we don't have to take God King, so we can take the +1 to production, which is nice. The reason we went with the pottery tech second is because we're going to be improving those terrace farm tiles, and there should be a decent amount of food generation for growth, and we might be hitting up against the cap pretty quickly. And if we're not building settlers, then we're going to want a granary to expand our housing cap. We'll get +1 housing from the 2 terrace farms, but depending on how fast we grow, we could be running up against that housing limit pretty quickly, and we don't want to run into slower growth when we only have 1 city to work with. One of the aspects I tend to be very bad at managing, but you should keep in mind, is that the cost of purchasing tiles goes up the more tiles you have under the control of a city. So if you have 2 turns until your border is about to grow, then you'll want to try and get your tile purchased if you are going to be purchasing a tile before that happens, because it'll be more expensive to purchase if you wait. With our Pantheon selection here, we are selecting Earth Goddess because we need something that is going to have a very snowballish impact as well as an immediate impact. And because of the high appeal around the city here, we can immediately start accumulating a lot of faith off of that Pantheon. My hope is to potentially get Sanguine Pact and be able to place some strong vampire castles to really snowball some of those strong tiles off of the capital. We haven't discovered it yet because that requires killing a barbarian encampment, but it's possible that we could get it off this encampment up here. So to avoid spoiling too much of the map for folks here, I will just cut to the end. This should be all you need really to get set up. On a side note, I did not get Sanguine Pact. I didn't get it via any discoveries, so I ended up having to go with the late Void Singers, which you don't benefit a lot off of that tier 1 Void Singer ability that gives additional faith per monument because you just don't have a lot of monuments. Didn't get to go with that, but still was able to pull off a religious victory in about 173 turns, and I flipped 2 cities via loyalty, but those cities really didn't contribute much, and now I sort of wish I had just not taken those cities actually and closed out the win that way. Here are the map details one more time, and again, if you'd like some more content like this, there's a lot of it on my channel, and I regularly have new content out as well. So thanks for watching, folks, and have a great day.